it feels like you can't do everything. And you're right, you cannot do everything. You cannot finish all the 19 subjects in 25 days. That I promise you, that is not going to happen. But if you break that down, say, I'll forget about 25 days, I'll just take one day and I'll see what I can do in this one day. In one day, how many hours do I have? I have some good 10 to 12 hours. And let's see what I do in these 10 to 12 hours. Again, sometimes what happens is these 10 to 12 hours also start feeling overwhelming because 12 hours bahut hai, you just don't know what you're going to do. And then what you do is you focus on that 1 hour and just do the things that you can in that 1 hour. So hour after hour, you will start seeing that you're doing something, and that something will make a huge difference when it comes to the exam. All right, so I will be just taking your questions. So if you have any questions, put it in the QA session, question and answer session. Poor connection from my side is highly unlikely. I'm sitting on a very high speed broadband connection. So if it is poor, then it's probably on your end. All right. So first of all, let me just clear this out of the bat. I'm not going to here and teach you orthopedics because that is not possible and that is not what I'm going to do. So if you're here to listen to me teach you orthopedics, you can probably log off and go back and study. I'm here to kind of answer your doubts regarding number one, orthopedics, number two, preparation, and what to do in the last few days of your exam. So if that interests you, stick around. Otherwise, have a great day. Go and continue reading. So I will look at the Q&A session and I'll start answering this. Revati Bhavaraju is asking, if we are left with any subject, is rapid revision sessions of those subjects enough? I think yes, it is absolutely enough. You can go ahead and do them, because understand that FMG exam is not an exam where you have to get a very, very high score. You don't have to be competitive. You can be if you want to, but at the end of the day, you just need to clear the exam. So focus on the subjects that will give you more marks with less effort. Focus on the subjects that will give you more marks with less effort. So something like a surgical subject, obs and gyn, general surgery, orthopedics, ENT, ophthalmology, SPM, these subjects will give you more marks with less effort. Whereas if you start focusing on medicine, you will have to put in a lot of energy and effort, and you will only be rewarded with a few marks because it's going to be difficult, right? So right now, I suggest focusing on that, and time is enough. Narsima Reddy Yadala is telling, I feel like I'm forgetting, sir. Of course, you will feel like you are forgetting, dude. There is no denying that. There is no denying that because you have been preparing for some time now, and whatever you have read in the beginning of your preparation, you would have forgotten it by now. But it feels like that. And I'll tell you a simple exercise to tell you that you have not forgotten everything. Go and pick up the subject specific or subject wise test of that subject that you feel that you have forgotten. And when you start answering them, trust me, you will get most of them correct. And that reinforces your confidence. You have not forgotten. It's just that it is not categorized properly in your brain, because a part of your brain had surgery there, and when you read obs and gyn, it overlapped it, and now it's confusing. So once you go back and read it once again, or just have a quick look at it, it will fall into place. And the best thing is you don't have to remember it verbatim. This is an MCQ exam. If you can recall what it sounded like, you can mark it and get out of it, right? So I think I have answered your question. Anonymous attendee is asking me, how many questions are from ortho? Well, it depends. You'll get a minimum of 5 questions and maximum of 7 or 9 questions. That's all you'll get from ortho in your FMG screening exam, right? Sir, feeling low this time on peak. Deepak Yadav is telling he's feeling low. Dude, everyone is feeling low, and there are many, many reasons to feel low, right? You're not only feeling low because of your exam, which is a very natural feeling. You're feeling low because you probably miss your family, you probably miss hanging out, you probably miss doing the things that you always did. And so it all adds up. So I feel sorry for all of you, because this exam stress itself is humongous, and to add to it, you have this whole crisis going around, right? So it adds to your stress and you get very stressed out. The problem with stress is stress at an optimal level is actually healthy, which makes you do stuff that you didn't want to do. But when it exceeds that optimal level, your performance actually deteriorates and you will not be able to read. So my suggestion is take a break, meditate, relax, breathe deeply, talk to a friend, family, watch a movie, do something that will kind of alleviate the anxiety. And once you come back to normal, quickly go back and start studying. Another reason why most of us feel stressed is we are not studying. You see, procrastination or not studying or postponing things make you more anxious. And that anxiety, we confuse it with something else. But the moment you start reading and doing questions and getting them right, you will start feeling that you're not stressed anymore. I'll give you a simple example. What happens is sometimes I have a very bad case and I keep postponing because that's a very complicated surgery and there is a very high chance of complications, and I know that patient is a pain in the ass patient. So what I do is I keep postponing them. I'll tell them come back next week, we'll do it next week, and it keeps on adding anxiety to my life because I need to get it done. I know it one day I will have to do it, so why delay it? But the moment I start doing it and the surgery is over, I feel that anxiety is gone. So start studying and you will notice your anxiety is gone. All right. Now, Aslam A is asking, sir, is there any chance of reconsidering the passing percentage by the MCI since talks are going on? Please do address this and share your point. Right. So, see, this is a bureaucratic and a political issue, right? So there are a lot of bureaucrats involved here. People protest, people go and ask and request for something to happen. And there are policy makers who will look at this and probably consider doing it or not. Off chance they do it, great. But if they don't, I don't want you to kind of set your hopes up for it because that kind of adds to anxiety and disappointment. Put your effort to get the best possible outcome. And if the thing that we're considering happens, we will be rewarded, right? We will be surprised that it has worked out. But if it doesn't, you're prepared for it. So don't think too much about whether the percentile will come down or whether the passing score comes down. Focus on what you can do right now. You can prepare and just do that. Atul Rai, how much this Arise rapid revision will be helpful to clear this upcoming FMG exam on 31st August? Right, very good question, Atul Rai. See, the purpose of rapid revisions of any platform, now let's talk about Arise here, is that to focus on extremely high yield topics, right? I have a video coming out tonight called 80-20 rule or the Pareto principle, and I explore this more in that video. You can watch it once it comes out today on my YouTube channel. But the point I'm trying to make it is that rapid revisions aims are to focus on extremely high yield topics, the topics that are very highly likely to come in your exam. And if you read those topics, the chances of them showing up in your exam are very good, rather than reading a topic that will probably not come in your exam. So that's the agenda. So there is obviously no guarantee that everything will come from that topic or from that course, but there is a very high chance, right? Now, what do you mean high chance? High chance means if you walk on the road with your eyes blindfolded, there is a very high chance that you will meet with an accident, right? There is a very high chance. So similarly, if you prepare from rapid revision courses, there is a very high chance that you will be able to answer most of the questions. Again, nobody can take any kind of guarantees, but with the limited time that you have, I think it's the best idea to do topics that you have not done or subjects that you have not done from rapid revision courses. I think that will help you. Lagging and voice is breaking in between, sir. I don't think so. From my end, everything is awesome. I promise you, I have a gigabit Ethernet here. It's insane. Anukriti Mishra is asking, how important is last year question papers and last how many years question papers should be done? Very good question, Anukriti. I think last year or previous year exam questions, unless there is an exam pattern change, all of them are important, right? So suppose exam is maintaining a pattern and there are 3 or 4, 5, 6 years of questions that are there of the same pattern, all of them are important. If the pattern has changed, you have to consider the questions only after the pattern change, not before that. So for example, a NEET PG, the pattern has changed last 2 or 3 years ago. So anything before that is redundant. But for an FMG entrance exam, a clearing exam, I don't think the pattern has changed much. So anything from the previous years is important, but also you can't go and read all the previous questions, can you? Right? So what do you need to focus on? I have a simple principle: 357. Uh, do the 3-year questions of all the subjects first, previous 3 years, and then do the previous 5-year questions, and then do the previous 7-year questions. See, what happens is when you do the previous 3-year questions, you will be doing all the subjects in the previous 3 year, very high chances of repeating the question in an exam. Once you've mastered that, go a little more up your level and go to the previous 5-year questions. And once you have done that, up your level and go to the 7-year questions. This is a very handy tip. Otherwise, what happens is if you focus on one subject and go up to 7 years, you will miss out on the other subjects. So do it for all subjects together. So previous 3 years, pehle karna hai, then 5 years, and then 7 years. I hope I answered your question. They are very important and relevant. And also, a pro tip: if you are appearing for an exam which also conducts other exams, so if the board conducts multiple exams, be familiar with those questions as well. For example, your DNB board conducts NEET PG exam as well, so might as well have a look at the questions there as well, because the faculty who prepares the questions are the same. Next is anonymous attendee. I'm curious who these anonymous attendees are. Anyways, so do you this year ka exam will be harder since late hone wala hai? Aha. Well, let me think. I don't know honestly, but I'll be very straight and blunt with you. I think easy hoga. There is a very high chance easy hone ka, because look at AIMS. What has happened in AIMS? Because AIMS had a peculiar pattern of a very different type of questions, but because of this pandemic situation, they couldn't prepare such questions. They basically just put out very straightforward, simple exam. So all those hardcore students who were expecting very good ranks unfortunately couldn't, and people who were not expecting great ranks got it. So I personally, and this is again purely my opinion, and I cannot foresee the future, I think the paper is going to be a very standard paper and more leaning towards easier side, and heavily relying on previously asked questions. So this is a good time to clear it. All right. Risha Kashyap. Am I audible, guys? Just tell me, because I just don't want to kind of speak in the void here. Yes, awesome. All right. Is this helpful? I mean, is this pattern of interaction helpful? Just put a thumbs up and tell me yes. All right, awesome. Risha Kashyap is asking, is it okay to do only the general part of pediatrics? Yes, Risha, I think general part of pediatrics is more important than anything else, because the specific topics of pediatrics, you can overlap the knowledge from medicine as well. So I think general is very important. The growth milestones are important. The neonatology is extremely important. The vaccination programs are important, and all the measurements and all that crap is extremely important. All right, so please go through that. Ragul Tulasi Raman is asking, sir, how important is previous year questions? One word: extremely important, buddy. You cannot go to an exam without knowing the previously asked questions. Please, this is my sincere request to all of you. Please look at the previous year questions. They kind of build the confidence, and when there is a direct repeat, you will be very happy to see it and feel the familiarity in the exam, because exam is a very stressful environment, don't you think? And when you see something familiar, you'll feel relaxed. I know this stuff, right? And you'll mark it. But again, don't let that kind of fool you into believing that it's a direct repeat. Sometimes the examiners play a very twisted game. They turn around the options and confuse you. Don't get confused, right? So yes, Ragul, previous year questions are extremely important. Anyone, anonymous attendees again asking, sir, can we get LMR in ortho? What is LMR? I don't know LMR. I'm sorry. All right, so I'll dismiss that question. Srikanth, sir, how to overcome exam stress? Well, Srikanth, honestly, I'll be very honest with you, and I'll tell you, you cannot. There is going to be stress, because this is a very pivotal moment in your life, and the outcome of this exam actually has huge repercussions, right? You can probably have to wait. You'll probably have to repeat if you don't clear it, unfortunately. And if you clear it, you'll get into internship or you'll start practicing it. It's a life-changing exam for you right now. So whenever there is a life-changing thing, there will obviously be stress associated with it. You just need to keep it in control. So I have two simple techniques to keep it in control, and I've made plenty of videos about it on my channel. If you have time, go through and watch it. But I'll just briefly tell you what those two things are. Number one, do the damn thing, man. If you have to study, just study. What happens is the stress level comes down because you're actually doing something to, get the result that you seek. Number one. And number two, don't sweat about it. I know it's easy to say, don't sweat about it, because I am sitting over here and you are there struggling. But what I've done is I've made a system where I don't think about the result. I just think about the process. Think about what you have to do today. You think about what you have to do now. For example, when I got up in the morning and I got a message, sir, I have to do this session today. I was like, oh my God, I'm not prepared. I have no idea. And trust me, I was not. I went to the OT, I finished 2 cases, came home, took a bath, and I was just, drying my hair, and I just sat down. The reason is I've practiced this. I have talked to so many students. I know how to talk to them. I know how to solve problems, right? So I've practiced this. And when you practice so much, things become easy. So stress relievers are do the thing that you have to do and practice for it, because when you practice for it, the stress comes down. Don't think about the result, dude. Think about what you have to do right now, and that is what will get rid of stress. But if it's at a pathological level where you need help, you need to meet a psychiatrist or someone, because it can happen sometimes. All right, I would love if you put your names there, because I just don't know who these anonymous attendees are, right? Anyways, sir, we have started late from mid-May month, and since then we had classes, and for me, I felt exhausted and couldn't concentrate much on revisions and give test. Whatever I heard from seniors is that we need to do as much tests as possible. Well, anonymous attendee, your seniors are very right. You have to do tests because, see, if you just keep reading notes and attending classes, you will not learn the art of answering the questions, because the most important thing is answering the questions. How much you have read, how much you have retained, how much you have reproduced, nobody cares in the exam. In the exam, what matters is whether you marked the correct option or not. And how will you practice that essential thing? By practicing tests. Tests build up your thought process. I've made an enormous video talking about the importance of tests. If you have time, go look at it, because test basically differentiates you from who's preparing to who's prepared, right? So try to be prepared, do tests. I know you did not have time. Make time, make time. Manisha Methaj is asking, sir, will previous year NEET PG question in AIMS papers help? Yeah, I think you should be familiar with the last 3 years of all the exam questions that were out there in the market. Last 3 years, not more than that, but definitely last 3 years, and they will definitely help you, because at the end of the day, they are not asking you engineering questions, right? They're not asking you arts questions. They're asking you medical questions, and so it doesn't matter in which shape or form they present to you. As long as it's there in the market, you should know about it. Anonymous attendee is asking, sir, is there any possibility of postponement of FMG exam? That is extremely wishful thinking, dude, right? Let's not ponder over there. What if it doesn't get postponed? What if it gets postponed? Why should that matter to you? Assume the worst, right? Assume the worst. Prepare for the worst, right? So let's assume that it is not going to get postponed. Prepare for it. Yatiraj. Sir, do you have any idea when will next exam be implemented? Because some of us right now give this exam because we didn't get our certificate. Well, it was supposed to be implemented in 2022, but it looks like it is going to get postponed because of this pandemic and stuff. But you never know with this government, right? National education policy has come out. Things change rapidly and swiftly. So it can probably be next year also, and next to next year. We don't know. So let's not waste time talking about things that we can't figure out. From Ashish Aladi is asking, what's the name of your YouTube channel? It's Bone Teacher. Just look for it and you'll find it. Bone Teacher. Okay. Pucha Kaila. I'm sorry, please. I am very bad with names. Subbarao is asking, which subjects are for scoring and remembering, sir? Which subjects are for scoring and remembering? What do you mean by scoring? All right. So basically what you're trying to ask me, I'm assuming, is that which subjects will give you maximum result with minimum effort. I think that is your question. So surgical subjects, definitely surgical subjects. Let me tell you, general surgery, ENT, ophthalmology, orthopedics, anesthesia, obs and gyn. These are the subjects that will give you marks easily, because you don't need to put in so much effort. These are mostly factual kind of questions. Others are SPM. Uh, Others are SPM and your microbiology, pharmacology. These are all factual questions also. So be prepared for them if you want to get easy marks. See, the subjects which take a lot of effort and gives you less marks are in medicine and physiology. So if you have not done it, I'll just look at the important topics from those subjects and move on, because I cannot invest more time in those subjects that will give us less results. That is the 80-20 principle, right? Narendra Gopi Setti is asking, sir, about exam postment idea will be, I think I've already talked about it, right? Philip Prince is asking, sir, can you say which subjects will come in first half, and do we need to study all one-liners of these first half subjects? If yes, then can you please provide all subjects one-liner in one file? It will be more helpful, sir, because if we do first half good, half stress is gone. Right. So I think there is a clear-cut description of what the first half paper will have and what the second half paper will have. It's there in your prospectus as well. So 80 to 90% of the times they stick to it, but sometimes they overlap the questions. Right? They overlap the questions. Some questions from part two come in part A, and part A go into part two. But most of the times they stick to the program. Now, as far as the one-liners are concerned, I think if you've attended the classes and if you've written the notes, or if you attend the rapid revision sessions, you will pretty much get all the one-liners that you have to memorize and remember. Although, yes, there are separate books that are available to get those one-liners in, but the problem is the quality and the credibility of those one-liners. I mean, there is a very high chance that they might have mistakes in it. So I will confidently say, stick to your notes for those one-liners and whatever it is that you want to read and revise. Don't go for any new book or new source right now. Thank you. Atul Rai is asking, is there any chance to come one-liner in image-based questions more this time? I don't think there will be a huge difference than the previous year exams. Whatever the amount of one-liners were there will be almost the same, and the image-based questions will also be the same. Yes, all right. So this is not going to be a revolutionary new exam for you. Anonymous attendees asking, sir, at home sitting for long time and studying is not possible. That's making me depressed as I'm not able to complete subjects as I planned. Uh, Dude, it's the same for everyone. Everyone is getting depressed, right? So obviously that will not make it easy for you, but you have to understand that this thing matters most to you. Right now, if you get this done, half of your problems are solved. And if you can't get it done, the problems are going to be there. So think of it that way, right? So think of it as a big problem solver of your exam, and that will probably keep your spirits up, right? So if you're depressed right now, and if you get this exam, and if you get through this exam, you will feel better. How's that? Right? So do that. Think about that. Chandiya Ramakrishnan is asking, hi sir, how are you? My questions for the last 5 days of August, what we have to focus for from August 25 to 31, like one-liners or image-based questions. Excellent. Very good question, Chandiya. So these are the kind of questions I love hearing, because I can give you a lot of valuable content here, other than I feel sad and I feel depressed. I mean, those are the things that I can only address to a particular extent, not more than that. You have to get up and do it, because you're not kids anymore. The last 5 days or the last 1 week should be reserved to go through everything that you have done. So it looks extremely overwhelming. It feels like you can't get it done, but you have to do it because all the effort and hard work that you have put in till this point will be wasted if you don't utilize those last 5 days and 1 week properly. Now, my personal suggestion to make the best of that last 1 week is to quickly go and review the tables, the facts, the hard points which you have marked or underlined multiple times that you were getting wrong again and again. Simple example would be the markers that are elevated in dysgerminoma, teratoma that you read in gynecology, the various locations of bone tumors in orthopedics, the various names of bone tumors in orthopedics, right? And the various electrolyte parameters in the types of acidosis, renal tubular acidosis 1 and 2 that you read in medicine. So these kind of things, milestones in pediatrics. So these kind of things, I usually call it the 20th book, because you have 19 subjects, and then you keep one extra book for all the facts to put in. That is the book that you have to constantly keep reviewing. Another thing that I want you to look at in the last 1 week are the drugs, the names of the drugs that you need to revise. and possibly the previous year questions. Don't touch anything new at that particular time, because that will not make anything better. It will make worse. Again, remember, this is not a competitive exam. You just need to get through. All right, I think I've answered. So last 1 week to 5 days, rapidly review everything that you have read. Obviously, you cannot. So just focus on the areas which you have underlined or bookmarked, or the dirty pages which you kept on reviewing again and again. If you use an app or something, you must have bookmarked certain questions. Look at them only and then call it a day and go for the exam. NS is asking, sir, how much is the test and discussion helps in clearing FMG, and what is the D-Day exam strategy? The D-Day exam strategy, I have prepared a video which is let's get ready for NEET, something on my channel. It's the same for FMG or NEET, it doesn't matter. I talk about what you should start doing from the moment you get up in the morning, talk about good night's sleep and a healthy breakfast and all those things. So that is a D-Day strategy. I talked about not talking to strangers and not talking to friends even, because they kind of sometimes make you, anxious. So I talk about all of that there. But your question is about test and discussion helps that clearing in FMG. See, test and discussion is a tool that will teach you information that will help you answer the questions in the exam, right? So we need different tools for different procedures. So test and discussion is a tool for people who are familiar with the subject, who know the subject, who just want to quickly review it. All right. Now, if you're not familiar with the subject and you have absolutely no idea about the subject, then test and discussion as a tool will not be very helpful to you. You probably need to attend the full class, learn the subject, and then appear for the exam. Okay, so test and discussion as a tool, if you're a candidate who knows the subject somewhat, have prepared or attempted the exam at least once, then it is an extremely useful tool for you, and you can use it and it will be very helpful for the exam. Next, Koteshwara Reddy is asking, sir, what subjects do we have to revise in the last 1 week before exam? Like I said, it's not about a particular subject, it's about the parts of all the subjects that are factual that you would forget, right? So if there are certain tables that you need to review in gynecology, review them. Certain tables in bone tumors, review them. Certain tables in pediatrics like milestones, review them. ENT, there is a, various the tumors in ENT, review them. Surgeries in ENT, review them. Okay, and ophthalmology, refractive errors, review them. So you will know what those topics are, and you will review them across all the subjects. No, not particular subjects. But if there is a matter in terms of subjects, focus on subjects that will give you, high reward based on the investment. Like I said, surgical subjects. I've already said that. You can go and listen to it. Taurja Saha. Sir, how many hours exactly we should put in every day in the last 25 days, and how many subjects we should take on a single day? Okay, so how many hours exactly we should put in every day? Let's look at it the other way. How many hours should you not put in every day? That is an accurate question. You should not put in the hours you're sleeping. Right? Everything else you have to do it, because see, it's simple. You want this, so put in the effort to get it. If you don't want it, don't put in the effort to get it. It's very simple. You're not school children anymore. You put in the efforts, you get the result. You don't put in the effort, you don't get the results. If you ask me, if you can stay awake for 18 hours a day, put in 18 hours. If you can stay awake for 16 hours a day, put in 16 hours. This is realistic. People are doing it. If you don't, if you can't, then you are at loss. I will not be here sitting benign and telling you, it's okay, beta, study for 2 hours every day. You will get very good results. That's not going to happen. I'll be very honest with you. Put in as many hours as you possibly can. Simple, right? Next, I've talked about exam postment. Sir, dermatology, ortho, radio, images, and FMG solutions, MCQ practice enough to go for exam, sir? Yes, I think that is enough, because image-based questions from across the subjects will not be very hard to identify. If you have attended the classes, if you've watched the lectures, or you know what those images are, those are the images that will come, nothing else. For example, in orthopedics fractures, if you can identify supracondylar humerus fracture, you're done. If you can identify Colles fracture, you're done. If you can identify hip dislocation, you're done. If you can identify ankylosing spondylitis, you're done, right? So you don't have to be, overzealous about learning new images. So these are basic images that will be asked, right? Certain radiological signs in general surgery, obs and gyne. Those I think you have seen in the classes and you know the answers. Dermatology also, direct, straightforward questions of image-based images. Image-based questions will have standard images like lichen planus and psoriasis. So I don't think that is a very hard question to answer. You've answered it pretty much yourself. All right, guys. Tip for ortho tumors, sir can't remember them. Okay. Praneeth Kulkarni is asking tips for bone tumors, ortho tumors. So just use the tables. Just use the tables. Divide them into locations of epiphysis, metaphysis, and diaphysis, and remember which tumor occurs in epi, meta, and diaphysis. Once you know that, look at the question, look at the options, and based on that, you can rule out. I think based on location is a very important method or simplest method to remember bone tumors. You can make mnemonics to remember which tumor falls into which location of the bone. And remember, epiphyseal tumors will occur in epiphysis, not in metaphysis in your exam. Metaphyseal tumor will occur in metaphysis, not any other place in your exam. And diaphyseal tumors will occur in diaphysis. So it's as simple as that. Remember the location, you can identify the image. Sir, 130 out of 300 marks I'm scoring right now. How I increase marks? Well, to increase marks, there is a simple thing called mics. I've talked about it somewhere. I don't know. I don't remember it. But I'll just quickly review and tell you what it is. So to improve marks, you just need to complete the topics and subjects that you have not read. Unless you do that, your marks will not improve. Because if you keep on doing the same shit again and again, your marks going to remain the same again and again. If you want to up your level, start upping your game as well, right? For example, if you read only 10 subjects, you will get 60% of that 10 subject worth of marks. For example, 10 subjects will give you, for example, I'm not saying accurate numbers here, 10 subjects are worth 150 marks. So you will get around 100 marks only. You will not improve. Your score will not magically improve if you keep on reviewing and revising them. It will maximum go to 120, 130 only, but it will not go more than that. My suggestion is complete as many subjects as possible, and then your scores will start improving. And it will not improve if you have left out subjects. So if there is a weak subject or if it's a subject you have not covered, go and do it. Your test score will improve, right? And after the test, you an analysis, right? And you will know which subjects are weak, which subjects you are not scored well. Try to go and read those subjects. And the moment you do it, you will improve your score. For example, say you're getting 100 and you have not read psychiatry. You do psychiatry, out of 5, you'll get 3 more marks. So it goes to 103. You've not done ortho. You do ortho, you get 5 more marks. It goes up to 108, right? So it's as simple as that. It's mathematics. Don't worry too much about it. Bhanu Prakash is asking, sir, I've not completed microbiology. How can I get minimum idea on that subject? So do that rapid revision course. Focus on the last 3 to 5 years questions of microbiology. If you do that, I think you will at least be in a position to know the topics that were asked in the previous 5 years. Then you can answer the questions if they come from those topics. But if they don't, if you're unlucky, then I'm sorry, you'll miss out. Okay. So if you have not done a subject, don't completely leave it, friends. Either do a rapid revision or at least do a subject specific test where you read the question and try to understand the answer, or do the previous 3 to 5 years of that subject. Just don't completely leave it out. Okay, Bhanu, I think I've answered that question. Praneeth Kontam, one second. So if you have any valid questions, please put it forward. And if I've answered your question, feel free to leave. I don't want you to waste your time. This session will last another 5 to 10 minutes and we'll call it a night. Okay, Praneeth Kontam is asking, sir, I have been scoring around 145 to 147, 148 from the past 3 exams. Can you suggest anything to squeeze in those remaining marks? I've just talked about it, Praneeth. If there are topics that you have not read, there are subjects that you have not read, this is the time you put in the effort to get that subject under control, and then you will improve the score. Sai Ketan, sir, is there any better strategy for practicing previous year questions in a particular day, like minimum to be done because we have less time? So Nalam, I'll tell you what I used to do when I was appearing for these kind of exams. I used to dedicate a particular time of a day for a few hours to practicing questions, right? That's all I did. So today, every day I would do 50 questions or 100 questions. That should be your strategy. Okay? Nothing else. Everything else is extra. like reading, revising, practicing, that is extra. If you're going to do, test, that is extra. But everyday ritual, you have to do 50 to 100 questions, and there is no way around it. You have to do it. That will help you, in your exam. Sir, how we increase our score? Now only 40% I'm scoring. I just talked about it. Look at the subjects that you're not scoring at. Try to read those subjects. Good afternoon, sir. Some people are saying first paper would be easy, but second would be harder. Is it so? Vidati Sharma. Excellent question, Vidati. I will answer this question. It depends on what you have prepared, Vidati. If you have prepared the subjects that usually come in the first paper, that will obviously be easy for you, and the second paper will be hard. If you're someone like me who prefers reading clinical subjects more than the paraclinical and preclinical, you would find second paper easier than the first. So it totally depends on person to person. If you're a person who's very smart and have prepared everything, trust me, you will find both paper one and paper two easy. So there is nothing like first paper is easy, second is hard, second is easy, first is hard. It's all random rumors and myths people create because don't hype this exam. Trust me, this is possibly the easiest exam that you're ever going to appear in your life for, because you just need to clear it. There are difficulter tasks. There are more difficult tasks after this. So don't worry about it. You just need to get through. Whether it's hard or easy, you just need to get the 50th percentile, guys. Right? Don't worry about it. Sir, what are the must-know topics from Ortho, Jayalakshmi? Very simple. You should know all the fractures from upper limb, all the fractures from lower limb, dislocations. You should know the bone tumors. You should know the nerve injuries, right? Various deformities like Benediction sign, Pope sign, Ochsner clasp sign, carpal tunnel syndrome, tennis elbow, regional conditions. So these are the topics that you need to focus on for in orthopedics. All right. Anonymous is asking how to plan a day, sir, with MCQs and one-liners and notes, taking tests. That is micromanagement. I cannot micromanage your day. You have to just decide yourself. If you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, or if you get up in the afternoon, I don't know your life, right? But I'll just tell you what a general idea should be. A few hours every day should be dedicated to practicing questions, and a few hours every day should be dedicated to revision of the previously read subjects. Everything else falls in the remaining part of the day. So if you're studying 10 hours, say you leave 1 hour for MCQ practice, 1 hour for revision, and then you have 8 hours to study anything new. Okay. If you want to read one-liners every day, give another hour for one-liner. So that is totally your discretion and your choice. I cannot tell you what to do. What we have to do for the one day before exam, how to decrease our stress level. I have 2 videos last week before the exam and the exam day preparation. You can go ahead and watch them. Anatomy and micro and pharma, I didn't read what I have to do. I'll tell you, it may sound blunt, dude. Read. If you're not going to read everything, at least read the previously asked questions. If you can't read everything, at least do test and discussion. If you can't read everything, at least do the rapid revision. If you can't do everything, at least do the subject specific tests of that subject. Just don't leave them, man, because sometimes easy questions come from it, and because you did not know it, you might miss out on that 1 or 2 or 3 marks, and because of that you might fail. All right, so don't leave it, do it. Okay, do it. Find time, make time. How to approach clinical questions because they are hard to solve. Clinical questions are not hard to solve. You just need to find out what the examiner is hinting towards. Clearing MCX exam, again, let me repeat, is not very hard. It is easy. You just need to know the fundamentals and basics. You just need to pass, man. You just need to pass. It's not very hard. Sit down and study. Sit down and study. Stop thinking about whether I'll pass or fail. Stop thinking about what Seema auntie will think or what my relatives will think. Just sit down and do it, guys. All right. Now, if you've liked this session, if you have enjoyed my coming here online and sorting all your issues and problems, leave a thumbs up. And I think this is enough for today. I wish you guys all the best. Have a great day. Bye-bye.